Welcome to Patient Zero. I'm your host, Branch Isole. Patient Zero shares a focus on personal, career, and spiritual relationship growth and sustainability. The term Patient Zero generally describes a point of origin for any experience, event, or entity. From the moment of our creation as a spirit of origination, each of us becomes the patient zero of our lifetime journey. On Patient Zero, you'll hear tips and takeaways for healthier daily interactions to achieve greater success at home and work. You'll also learn how prophecy can educate, entertain, and edify, with an awareness about prophetic events, people, and circumstances, to help you know and prepare for God's purpose-filled plans. Why do bad things happen to good people? Have you heard this question? Have you asked this question? How about this one? If God loves, why does he punish people? Now, we often hear people lament about someone who has suffered or died, and them as being too good to have been taken, or too good to have suffered and died. Now, granted, many may be taken sooner than others, and some by horrific manner or circumstance. And yet, except for personal loss or the tragic loss of children, how do we know who is or was good? What determines goodness? Who determines goodness? And what exactly is goodness? You see, people around the world die every day. How many do we know? How many did we know well? How many were we acquainted with, well enough to know what went on behind their closed doors? And you get my point. You see, our human nature is rooted in, and most often about, self. And as such, our actions are generally, and again, most often about us, expressed as, what's in it for me? You see, decisions and choices for most of us, most of the time, are focused on self-interests, meaning, how can I get the things of this world that I desire? Or, what do I need to do to make people agree with or take my side of the issue? Or more simply put, how do I get what I want? Today, right now, and in the future, in spite of any damage I may cause or the people I may hurt, what's in it for me? Now, this is a fairly common attitude, but why? Well, again, simply put, this is the world's way. The world's way that teaches and encourages us to embrace what the world offers, and in many cases, what we are willing to do, or what we're willing to do, whatever we can, whatever we might, whatever we think we need to do in order to succeed. Succeed in acquiring wealth, possessions, status, fame, and notoriety. The question is, how do I embrace and envelop myself with the things of this world? And how do I present myself to the eyes of this world? You see, in reality, at the root of this awareness is a world that encourages us to embrace and do the exact opposite of goodness, the exact opposite of respect, both self-respect and respect for others, the exact opposite of appropriate responses, and the exact opposite of personal responsibility. That's the ways of the world. So the next time you hear the comment, they were too good to have endured that hardship, or to have died. Remember, we actually know the smallest measure about their life, their choices, or their motivations and behaviors. Now, as to the other castigation, God's involvement in our punishment. To start with, God is not a punisher. Convincing people that God is vengeful or a seeker of punishment are often talking points used by individuals, groups, or religions who spew inaccuracies in order to weaponize God's words. But why? Why would religions want us to believe God is a punisher? Well, throughout history, people in positions of religious, political, or economic power have promulgated this thought about God and why he wants to punish us. But why would they want to promote this idea so strenuously? Well, what better way to control people's choices and behaviors than to suppress their core understanding about God by concealing truth? Concealing truth behind fabrications, misinformation, and disinformation, or by backing and promoting assertions that God loves to punish. You see, if we can be convinced that God is mean and nasty, that he is always desiring to punish us, we certainly will not run into his arms. And we certainly will want to turn away. Now, some religions, even some political organizations, want us to think that we, as evildoers and lawbreakers, or as quote unquote unbelievers, deserve to be punished. And therefore, we need an advocate or mediator to represent us and to tell our story, in hopes that our punishment won't be too harsh. And yet, where can we find this mediator? At church? At synagogue? At mosque? Or through some other group leader? The Pharisaic Christian? The Hasidic rabbi? The jihadist imam? Or the authoritarian fascist? They're each ready every day and prepared to condemn those who choose truth instead of the world's ways, as they cling greedily to power and control. While their efforts and energies to negate other people's choices and behaviors with twisted words, hypocrisy, or elevating God's Old Testament actions of wrath filled with responses to our day and age. Here's the truth. The fact is, God allows each of us free will to choose which events, which people, which circumstances, and which relationships, and yes, even a relationship with God, that we will choose to engage in, believe in, and cultivate or not. Here's another truth. Most negative outcomes are a direct consequence of our own individual decisions, through our own individual choices. You see, we're conditioned from childhood to believe what the world tells us, sells us, and convinces us about what we should or shouldn't do, meaning right or wrong, what we can or can't believe, what we can or can't live with, and most of all, what we deserve or don't deserve to have, no matter the harm it may cause to us or to those we claim to care for. And while God grants us each free will, the world gives us opportunities and options with consequences and with punishments. However, through his unconditional love, God creates and prepares each of us as a spirit of origination for a lifelong journey of opportunities to rediscover Him while on our mortal path of experiences, rooted in and held tightly by the ways of the world. Now, whether our choices are grounded in goodness or not is found in a simple question. Are our free will decisions moral and ethics? Or are they guided by what's in it for me? You see, the choices in this life, the decisions on this life's journey are, will I be led by God's Spirit or by the little god of self? Thanks for joining me today. On Patient Zero, we share key takeaways for growth-filled living. If you know someone who could benefit from today's episode, please share it with them. If today's show has been interesting for you, please give us a rating and review. And to know more about my work, I invite you to visit my website, branchisole.com, my Substack page, branchisole.substack.com, and my YouTube channel, Branch Isole. Substack subscribers also receive a thought for today every morning, 2 spiritual Christianity prophecy alerts every week, and an open mic poem short story every Saturday, as well as access to archived Patient Zero episodes, informative series, and articles. At the website, you'll also find my books, ebooks, and gift merchandise. Join me each Wednesday evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at branchisole.substack.com. Until then, keep growing and be in the world, not of the world.